John Cena has two opponents left in him, one being Dominic Mysterio, his second to last ever for the IC title at War Games Survivor Series. But who's going to be the final opponent of the Unseen 17? We've got 10 guys left in the John Cena's Last Time Is Now tournament to determine who that is going to be, and that will be such an honor. But today, I thought we would go over all 10 people and make a case for them. So we're only going to make a case for the 10 options we have, because I wanted Obafemi. He was my number one guy, but he's no longer in the tournament. I wanted Trick Williams. He was my number two guy. Heck, I kind of wanted Cody Rhodes so John Cena could be the Unseen 18 and win this undisputed title. That way we would never have to remember WrestleMania 41 again. But unfortunately, nope, 17 is going to be where John Cena tops out. Fortunately, though, you can win this title even if John Cena can't. I am going to give it away at 20,000 subscribers on my quest to quit my day job. How do you win this title on this shoulder, that shoulder right there? All you got to do is comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell, ding, 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 notification, and you can win this belt. It's not a toy. It's a replica. All right, so we have 10 people who are still vying for this honor. Rusev would be good because, well, they already have history. John Cena and Rusev fought, I think, WrestleMania 31, and that's where Rusev came out in a tank, and that's also where John Cena won the U.S. title, I believe. And, yeah, you know what? The thing that makes this such enticing is that Rusev is 39 years old, okay? So I know he's going into his 40s, but that doesn't even matter nowadays. But if you think about it, AJ Styles entered WWE when he was 38, and the dude's wrestling 10 years later. So we still got up to 9 years with Rusev at least, and making him a main event guy right now, that would do it. Plus, he's just started to get real momentum in WWE. Ever since he came back, I haven't been feeling it, but lately with his feud with Dominic Mysterio, it has really showcased what made me like Rusev from back in the day. And if we're going to want to really consider this dude a main eventer, well, what better way than beating John Cena? And then Rusev can say, I have finally avenged my loss at WrestleMania 31. And that's been my goal this whole time. So we have this character who's been like literally stuck at WrestleMania 31 for 10 years. And boom, he has done it. He has completed his life goal. And now he can move on to bigger, better things in the main event. So that's the case for Rusev. Why should Sheamus win? Well, for starters, Sheamus won his first championship off of John Cena, and guess what day he did it? It was 2009, that's the year, but the day was December 13th, 2009. And when is John Cena's final appearance? December 13th, 2025. Literally 16 years to the day from Sheamus winning his first championship from John Cena to being able to retire him. That's a coincidence, but it's a cool coincidence that's very enticing. Sheamus has been one of the main event guys that just, I don't know, I never felt like he got his dues. It feels like now fans are appreciating him, but it seems like it's too late, and that he's just in the tail end of his career, and nobody really considers him a threat to that main event scene. And well, this would get him to be that threat. Plus, there is a running storyline that is part of Sheamus's character that he is chasing the Grand Slam title of winning all 4 titles, and the one that has eluded him is the IC title. And guess who holds it right now? John freaking Cena. If John beats Dominic Mysterio, he retains the IC title, and then Sheamus is his last opponent. How cool would that be? Sheamus would then instantly become a main eventer again, credible main eventer. And some people might say, no, he's always a credible main eventer. That's fine, cool. Let's put Sheamus versus CM Punk, and I bet everybody would be picking a CM Punk to win. I'm not saying that I don't like Sheamus or I don't view him as a main eventer. I'm saying storyline-wise, he's been written kind of out of the main event. But all that said, this would get him back in it. But the more enticing things is the fact that it's literally 16 years to the day that he won his title to John Cena's retirement. plus the Intercontinental title that has eluded Sheamus many, many times. That's why Sheamus is a very, very enticing prospect. Plus, Sheamus just teamed up with John Cena at Raw, so it shows that they are good friends. And so you could have kind of a pseudo of a Shawn Michaels Ric Flair thing where Shawn Michaels had to say, "I'm sorry, I love you," super kick, 1, 2, 3, Ric Flair, you're retired. Sheamus says, "I'm sorry, I love you," bro kick, 1, 2, 3, John Cena's retire, wins the IC title. So there you go for Sheamus. Let's do LA Knight. Yeah, LA Knight. I'll tell you who I want out of the 10 at the end of the video. I'll tell you my top 3 guys. LA Knight, though, would be a solid choice. So LA Knight, I think he's 42 or 43 right now. He's getting up there, but, well, you know what? He's still a youngin' compared to the world champ. I don't think age is necessarily a factor now in WWE's considering, well, he's too old to win this or that. For me, I think I would like someone under 35 to actually win this, but I don't necessarily think that's a factor when you look at the landscape. So why should we go with LA Knight? Well, the dude's been over for 3 years. And we've had stop and go, stop and go, stop and go, stop and go pushing. So right now, if you don't have a title to give LA Knight, but you want to give him something big, you don't want to give him a title because it'll disrupt all your plans and stories, well then the next biggest thing you can give him is the John Cena victory, the final John Cena match. This would be huge. At one point, before Cody had to finish his story and CM Punk reemerged and the final boss came out of nowhere, LA Knight was on that rocket ship. He had a match with Roman Reigns. He had John Cena. He was teaming up with John Cena. John Cena was raising his hand and pointing to him. And then he completely got overshadowed and fell down the card. So LA Knight, let's throw him back up the card. Let's give him this huge victory, because a victory over John Cena, you might not be able to stop and go push after that, because it might just be go, go, go. He's fighting Jey Uso. Why should Jey Uso win? Well, I mean, in the beginning of the year, who did John Cena get eliminated by in the Royal Rumble? Jey Uso. Jey Uso eliminated him, and John Cena attacked Jey Uso at Saturday Night's Main Event earlier in the year, where they then had a tag team match at Money in the Bank, where it was Logan Paul and John Cena when John Cena was still a heel, and versus Cody and Jey Uso. So there is history there, plus that Royal Rumble victory, the first match of John Cena's retirement tour, the last match of John Cena's retirement tour, and they put a lot of time and investment in making Jey Uso into a main event guy, not just during the Bloodline run, but during all of 2025, winning the World Championship, tapping out Gunther at WrestleMania, consistently being at the top level of Raw. Well, if you want to solidify Jey Uso as a main event top staying guy, well, John Cena beating him in his last match. That's why you would go with the Yeet Man and the merchandise. He sells a lot of merchandise. So those are your reasons for Jey Uso. Now we go to we still are in the first round with a couple guys. Bronson Reed versus Carmelo Hayes. That's still a first round pick. Oh, time out. I do have a Patreon channel. I produce wrestling content every single day on the main channel, YouTube, but it doesn't pay the bills. Honestly, when it's all said and done, I spend more money than I make on YouTube because I just don't have the views to, I don't know, to make anything off of YouTube. So Patreon is the best way to do it. If you like the channel and want to help continue videos every single day for $5 a month, you can help me. Plus, you'll get exclusive content over there on Patreon. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to guilt you, but, like, I don't know, is it working? So let's do Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed is actually a great pick to be the guy to retire John Cena. He's 37 years old, so he kind of falls in that, still in like kind of the prime years before 40. So like, I think now your prime age is like 34 to 38, but you just can go longer than back in the day. But Bronson Reed, he has a pinfall victory over Roman Reigns. That alone qualifies him. Like, Bronson Reed is like, it's insane that actually Bronson Reed is in this tournament and Braun Breaker isn't. Braun Breaker isn't even going after the world title and he's not in this tournament. That's insane to me. But, like, that's good for Bronson Reed because I feel they're putting more stock into Braun Breaker, but somehow, some way, Bronson Reed is getting some really good matches and getting placed in these really good storylines. And if he uses, I beat the tribal chief Roman Reigns, and then he goes on to win and beat John Cena, well, you've got yourself a made man right there. Arguably even a bigger future than Braun Breaker in this moment. And, well, you know, he's 37, he's a big dude. He might not be able to get to 45, but he could probably get to 43, so you got a monster that could be on top for 5 years, and if you are still, like, you know, gonna be pushing Braun Breaker in the next year, like really solid, you know, a Brock Lesnar match at WrestleMania or something, then you can have two just huge established monsters in your main event. One being Braun Breaker, who didn't need the John Cena rub, maybe, sort of, kind of. I think he should have got it, maybe, if not Oba. But you got then Bronson Reed, who did get the John Cena rub. And to say, yeah, I beat Roman, I beat John in 2025, well, 2026. You gotta make that guy a threat to Cody Rhodes. So, like, very enticing for Bronson Reed to add those things to that resume. He's fighting Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes, ooh. Him and John Cena, they actually teamed up a little bit in NXT. John Cena was in his corner, actually, and coincidentally, it was across the ring from Braun Breaker with Paul Heyman in his corner. This was before they actually connected, though, like, fully connected. But, yeah, Carmelo Hayes, like, you know how LA Knights had stop and go? It's just been all stop, pushing, booking for Carmelo Hayes, and I think this dude was your number one draft pick for SmackDown, so they saw a lot in him at one point, and I guess he just got lost in the shuffle, and this is a way to, well, get him unlost. Instantly make him him. Like, this is one of the two guys that are under 35 right now that I think could benefit the most. Carmelo Hayes, when given the opportunity, is really good at the top of the company, at the top of the card. In NXT, he did a great job. If you let him speak, if you let him wrestle, if you let him do his thing, he's a great guy. And he's been hurt by all of these non-stories that he's not been given. He's just not given any stories to work with. So you just have no choice. If you beat John Cena, they have no choice but to push you. They don't want to let that go to waste. And so, yeah, Carmelo Hayes would be an instant reminder of why he was the number one draft pick of SmackDown and the future. Long career ahead of him, so give him this win. And John Cena is literally going on record saying he wants his final night of wrestling. The whole night is dedicated to the future of the business. NXT guys and gals being in exhibition matches. So if Javon Evans, the only guy in NXT that was in the tournament, is now out of the tournament, I would say Carmelo Hayes is the next best thing to be the NXT representative for John Cena's last actual match and pinning him. All right, so the final first round tournament that hasn't been decided matchup yet is Finn Balor versus Penta. When Penta first came on to WWE, he was a house on fire, and if we want to recapture that, then we would go for it. Plus, WWE is trying to expand into the South American, Mexico, and south of the border markets, and Penta, well, you know, he pretty much screams, I'm a Mexican wrestler, so, like, he would be great. He has the charisma, even though English is definitely not his first language, and it's still a little broke. Is it broken? I'm not sure if it's broken or his accent is so thick, but it doesn't really matter. His charisma is in his body language, his emotions, his ironically, his facial expressions, even though most of his face is covered with a mask, but it doesn't matter. You connect with the dude. You just want to cheer this dude. You're happy when he succeeds, and if he's the last guy to beat John Cena, well, what better way to say yes? We are investing in our south of the border operations than giving Penta the victory over John Cena. This is also a dude that's been hovering in the mid-card scene. Well, hover no longer, you would be graduated to the main event. Next is Finn Balor. I would love a Finn Balor to do it because I just feel that this dude is, we forget how good he actually is. It feels like his career has just, I don't know. This is your first Universal Champion of all time, but he got injured. And when he came back, he never recaptured that glory, and he has fallen down the card so far that now he's kind of like Dominic Mysterio's underling. And that's no shade on Finn Balor, but I mean, Finn Balor is like the demon. Finn Balor is one of the Mount Rushmores of NXT. So for him to be just this like, I don't even know. I don't think he's lower mid-card, but he's like definitely mid-card guy. And it would be cool if we were forced to remember the Finn Balor of the black and gold NXT. The demon Finn Balor. Could you imagine John Cena's last match and the demon appears? Like everybody's like, oh God, Finn, there's no way leading up to the match. Finn, there's no way you can do this. There's no way. You're just not as good as you once were. It starts getting into Finn Balor's head, and then we go, John Cena comes out, and then boom, the demon's music hits, the demon comes out, and Finn Balor, the demon, beats John Cena. Whew, I'm telling you, that would be, the place would explode, goosebumps everywhere. Finn Balor, the demon, back on top and staying there if they did that. Not gonna happen, but if they did. All right, so we only got 2 more to go. We go with our next person, the only other person who is under 35, and that's Solo Sikoa. Yeah, believe it or not, Solo is only 32 years old, and that makes him only like a year older than Carmelo Hayes, or they're around the same age. It just feels like Solo is older because he's been part of the Bloodline, and it feels like all the Samoans are over 40, but no, Solo is very young still, very much a career ahead of him. He was at one point the main villain of 2024. He led a War Games match against Roman Reigns. He was on the first match of the first ever Raw on Netflix. So they saw a lot in Solo Sikoa, and he has a victory over John Cena at a crown jewel where he just Samoan spiked him till John Cena was no more. John Cena decided he needed to retire after he fought Solo Sikoa. So I'm just kidding on that, maybe. Solo would be great. Solo would be great because this would establish him again as a top threat. I beat John Cena, and a heel winning it would be cool because like he could just shove that in our face every single week because we don't want to see John Cena lose. We want to see him win. So if Solo won and he just shoved it in our face for weeks and weeks and weeks, imagine how much we would hate the guy. And that's what we want to do. We want to utilize John Cena's final match to further the company, the storylines, the characters, and that would help someone like Solo, who seems to always be in the shadow of Roman Reigns or just the Samoans in general. This could help Solo finally break free of that and be like, I'm the guy. I'm 32. I'm the guy that beat John Cena. Give me the title shots. It's my time to take things. I don't even care about the Bloodline anymore. It's just about me, my MFTs. And so, yeah. Solo Sikoa, one of the only 2 dudes under 35. I would go with one of them, honestly, because under 35, I just want someone super young based on how John Cena is saying, I want everything to be about the next generation. Those 2 are your next generation. But the guy that I think they're going to give it to is the final guy that I saved for last, and that's Gunther. Why should Gunther win? Well, Gunther is a final boss type of character. And instead of creating another final boss like Bronson Reed, WWE tends to take final bosses' characters and make them even more of a final boss. They did that with Brock Lesnar so many times. Brock Lesnar felt like a final boss, but then they gave him Undertaker's streak, which I'll never forgive them on. And, well, then he became a legendary final boss, like the final of final bosses. Roman Reigns was definitely in the bloodline like the end boss, but then he's like stacking people and pinning them at WrestleMania. He's winning both championships. He's beating Brock Lesnar. There's like nothing that could stop the dude. Like, boom. They just kept adding and adding to his legacy and making him more and more dominant. And that's what they could do for Gunther. Make him more and more dominant. Plus, he already retired someone this year. And I'm very thankful that he retired Goldberg, because Goldberg sucks and I hate him. And I'm so glad that he's gone forever. Forever. Yes. Thank you, Gunther. I'll be forever in your debt for that. But do we just give him a retirement, like kind of a retirement gimmick? You know how there was like the legend killer and Randy would just like punt and RKO old people, old legends of the business? Well, Gunther might be the retirement guy, because we're about to go through a string of retirements. AJ Styles next year, probably Chris Jericho soon, probably Randy Orton in 3 or 4 years, CM Punk in 3 or 4 years, Rey Mysterio. Hopefully it's Dom that retires Rey, but Rey's an option even. So if he retires Goldberg, then retires John Cena, then retires whoever is next year, like, you got yourself a long-term storyline right there, and he becomes even more of a final boss. Maybe this will erase that, like, horrible image of him tapping out in 2 seconds to Jey Uso at WrestleMania. So there's a lot of upside to doing it to Gunther. This keeps him out of the world title hunt for a little bit, because he's just, like, living off the accolades of beating John Cena. Maybe he just wants to live off it and rub the us fans' nose in it, so he doesn't even care about anything else. He's just literally existing to troll everybody by beating John Cena. And yeah, so Gunther would have a strong case. He's the odds-on favorite right now, and I could see it. But if I had to pick, and I couldn't just include Trick Oba, then I would go probably Carmelo Hayes, LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, and Gunther are tied. I think LA Knight, I'm a little worried that he's never going to do it. He's never going to break the glass ceiling if we don't do something right away. But I'm going Carmelo, LA Knight, Solo, and Gunther tied. Maybe, you know what? Let's put Bronson Reed in there. Let's do Solo, Bronson Reed tied, and then Gunther. Gunther's still a good choice, but that's my list on how I want it to happen. All right, boys. All right, girls. I appreciate every single one of you. Tell me your top three choices out of the 10 that we have left to be John Cena's final opponent. See ya. Bye. Thank you.